So Elise, you've been a member for quite some time, and now you're a chair.
Hmm.
So I'd love to get your perspective on what the Tiger experience has been like for you.
Well, I got such huge value out of it as being a member. Helped me make some important life decisions. Certainly some good investment financial decisions, thinking about estate planning. There was a lot of questions that I had, and I didn't really know where to turn. Tiger 21 became that for me. That personal board of advisors that you have that experience in Tiger was so powerful for me. I love being a chair now. I'll tell you, one of the things that I think happens in a meeting that's so interesting and really engaging is that chance for us to help each other. So there's a portion of the program every meeting called Issues and Opportunities, which is where any of us can raise a hand and say, hey, I could really use the group's help on this. So it might be an issue, a problem to solve, a challenge I need to overcome, or it could be an opportunity, something that I want to leverage and take advantage of. Should I buy a home? Should I make an interesting investment? What does the group think? And so it becomes a very safe, confidential place for us to come together and put those things forward and really help each other make important decisions and move forward in our businesses and in our lives.
So PD.
Yeah, portfolio defense. Yeah. So that's another really interesting part of the meeting. I'd love for you to talk about it, though. I had my experience giving a portfolio defense, but it becomes, to me, this is actually sort of maybe one of the highlights of every meeting is having one member who stands up and really shares about their personal professional situation and gets the group's feedback. So tell them more about how you've negotiated all that with us.
Well, I think it's an incredibly interesting exercise where once a year, basically, you stand up and you provide all of your data to the group.
Mm-hmm.
How much money you have, how do you invest, what's your estate plan look like, how have you talked to your kids about money, what are your goals and aspirations, what are your core values, so it's a lot to it.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us your life story.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, it's a pretty big lift to do this, but it's a life-changing experience because for the first time in your life, one, you've done the exercise of thinking about all those things.
Mm-hmm.
And then two, the group holds you accountable to what you wanted to grow with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you came to the group, maybe your estate plan was not fully vetted.
Mm-hmm.
And now it is,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because the group really helped you
think it through,
mm-hmm. understand what you needed to do, and then held you accountable to get it done. So while that's a nerve-wracking thing to do, to stand in front of everybody and show them all those things, it is a life-changing event.
But you know why it's so important to do is, for me, Tiger was all about really realizing my personal value of stewardship. Mm-hmm. I thought about how I ran my company. I wanted to be, that was my main goal. How do I be a good steward of that? When I sold my company, same thing. When my husband and I think about how we manage our lives and think about investing in our children and future generations, it's stewardship is what it comes back to. And Tiger really gave me some clarity around that and challenged me to grow as a steward and to think more intentionally about things. So that was so meaningful to me. Another thing I love about the meetings is the personal updates that everybody does. Talk a little bit about how we do that in meetings.
Yeah, so each month we just go around the room and everybody provides what's happened in their world,
mm-hmm.
right? We call them world updates. It's not the world, it's your world.
Mm-hmm.
And so
That's
what's
right.
happened in your world over the last 30 days. From that, we usually pull some of those issues and opportunities, from that discussion, and then we'll talk about those issues and opportunities that afternoon. And then we've talked about PD, we've talked about World Update and Issues and Opportunities. The last piece is the learning session,
mm-hmm.
where we'll bring in an outside resource to talk about something interesting and unique. It could be about estate planning, it could be about an investment, it could be about how to get a visa, or how to get citizenship in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about art, we've talked about all kinds of different things,
mm-hmm.
but the meeting in general is kind of the centerpiece of what we do, but then everything outside of that really is the magic, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. And sometimes I hear people say, oh, I don't know if I might be too busy for Tiger. And I sort of thought the same thing myself until I went to the first one or two meetings and I realized this was one of the best days of my month. And I was going to build my schedule around being at a Tiger 21 meeting because I didn't want to miss any of that,
Right.
including that personal connection and that networking opportunity. Just sit next to somebody and really get to know them better. Just so valuable.
Well, it is a commitment.
Mm.
We want you to show up, and we want you to be present. We want you to give back to the community with your wisdom and knowledge. But at the end of the day, what you find is time certainly well spent.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for sure. Great investment and great return on investment in Tiger 21.